Namaste. Welcome to another self-talk series with Omaka here, and I am bringing you into the absention, into the stillness. Take a moment to be with me here in this moment. Take this moment to remember your breath by getting still where you are and using this moment to go within to find you, yourself. So with the inhale, we breathe in. And we return the breath with an exhale. And with each and every exhale, we fall and dissolve deeper and deeper into our awareness. We fall deeper into ourselves. Inhale again. Exhale. Allow your shoulders, allow your body, allow your mind and your temple to dissolve away, falling into the ash of the earth, leaving nothing but the self. Once more, breathe in. Remember, as you go in, you are going into you. You are going into yourself. Exhale. And on your return, you are allowing the body, the mind, the temple, the thoughts to dissolve and fall away. So stay here with me in this moment. And know that yourself cannot fathom itself. Yourself does not know where you are. You, the body, you, the temple, you, the mind, you, the thoughts, you exist in the world. That is the fading part of you. That is the fading part of your awareness. The fading part that has no memory. It doesn't remember. It cannot carry a memory. But there is a part of you that is always knowing. It carries truth. It carries with it the inner existence of knowing the self. The self never fades. It never wanes. It never ceases to exist. For the self is always here, never excluded. And when you breathe, you must always breathe into this self. You must always exhale into this self. And when you exhale, you always exhale to dissolve away your thoughts, your thinking mind. We dissolve away our conscious mind. There is a language that is speaking through you without words. That is coming from your being. It is coming from your core and your true self. There is a thinking mind, the subconscious mind, the mind that lays underneath you, and exist with only the self. You cannot fathom yourself. You cannot create for you a self. The self is not bound or arrested by a thinking mind. It is free. And when you inhale and exhale, you enter into this freedom, this liberty. You enter into this space where there is no handcuffs on your true self. It's always free, right here waiting for you to enter, for you can never exit the self. You can never enter the self, and you can never exit the self. You can never leave the self. You can never abandon the self. You can never run away from the self. You can only run away from you, but you cannot run away from the self. You can never not exist without the self. You can never awaken or sleep the self. It is always conscious. It is always aware. It is always knowing. It is always being. It is always in existence. It is infinite. Through your inhale and your exhale, you are moving more and more and more into the self, moving more into the real space, the space that has no form, no identity, no ego. For the ego doesn't live here in the self. For the self doesn't know ego. You must exist in the self, as the self, with the self, for the self. For the self is always around you and is always aware of its surrounding. The self is always available to access when you breathe and you fall away from the ideas and the identities. The existential part of you that doesn't exist. The true existence you cannot fathom. The true existence of yourself you cannot mold into a shape or into a color. The true existence of yourself you cannot put in a box. You cannot put on a category. You cannot put on a shelf. Take this true you, this true self, this version of your true self, and remove it from the temple, the body, mind, and go into the infinite awareness. This is where God lives with you. This is where God exists with you. Open your heart so that you are opening yourself to fall into the awareness of the true self. This self has no body. This self has no name. This self has no existence. This self has no connection to this world and this reality. Stay here. Stay here always. And always be mindful that yourself is available to you, available for you. Namaste.